goes out to Jerry Mullally.
Mountain Crest Records.
He was the Florida Drummer of the Year. His dad was a producer.
You know, I still remember when we got the call. Our manager had found us a place to record our albums. Man, we were so excited.
Yeah, we were real excited about Mountain Crest Records and where that might take us.
I was like, where's this place at? He said, it's in Hoboken, Georgia. I was like, Hoboken? That's where Aunt Tom's from.
And when we went to the studio, it was a nice trailer.
Had all the carpeted walls, kind of shag carpet going on.
It didn't look good. The first, I guess, warning sign was Mountain Crest Records was actually in South Georgia. There were no mountains and there were no crest.
Staggering.
Then one of those guys said, hello, I'm Jerry Mullally.
Jerry Mullally, you know.
A rather portly gentleman.
I think he was hair-lipped.
Drummer extraordinaire, Florida State champion, I mean, come on.
What more could you ask for?
So he goes in and sits down behind the desk and, all right guys, we're going to record a music fuss.
Anybody who has the musical genius to know that you're supposed to put a nickel or a quarter on a kick drum to get that click sound, I mean, that's classic.
Staggering. The guy said he was a preacher, he said he was religious, he said he was whatever.
His dad was a producer, a minister, and a landscape.
His dad's name was Dick.
Dick Mullally. I'm not so sure that that's a nickname.
I don't think the guy's name was Richard, I think he was a Dick.
You have to give credit where credit's due. Dick Mullally was a great producer.
And we gave him our money.
We thought we were going to make it. You know, that was our big break.
They would come back with stories about how good the record was sounding.
Okay for sound.
Mullally was a little threatening. I think he just decided to screw us over. I mean, I remember when we paid him, his wife and his kids were there and handed him the check and they went and got groceries.
And the whole thing really just kind of went downhill from there.
We flat out gave the guy the money. We thought this guy would deliver. He's a preacher. And they took everything we had. They robbed us blind.
He stuck it to us, you know, didn't put any lube on it, just kind of, you know, stuck it to us the hard way.
When you bend over and take one like that, first thing I wanted to do is just burn it down. Whole place, burn her down.
It all just, I don't even want to talk about it.
Staggering. Justice has to be served somewhere.
Took him to court.
Beautiful courtroom. People everywhere. Press hounding you. Somebody always wanting to shove a microphone in your face, wanting to know, you know, what's going on with Jerry Mullally. Do you think his staph infection has anything to do with the fact that he could not produce y'all's album?
I never saw any of the money, even though we won the case.
We got our masters back.
The masters on the special Memorex tape. It was a big clue that, you know, maybe we picked the wrong guy when there was 4 or 5 other bands waiting in line to sue him when we got done. We got the judgment, the tapes, but, you know, I'll never see the money.
From then on, no more South Georgia.
We never really recovered.
I'm still waiting for the contract from Blue Dot. I was promised that if I went in and made this demo with Jerry Mullally, that Blue Dot Records would pick us up because they carried Third Day back when nobody knew. Is it Grey Dot? Whatever, man.
Staggering.
And I can't find my As the pastor said, we're the Soul Truckers. In our vacant keyboard spot.
A keytar. I want to be up there in the mix so I could with everybody. But I mean, I can't believe there were people threatening not to even get on stage with me if I got one of those.
After Mullally, we were torn apart, and 2 or 3 of us sat down and said, okay, we're gonna keep the core. We're gonna try something different, and we did.
One day I was sitting there and I received this phone call. It was Mac on the other end. He says, no, we've decided to downsize. I was like, so what are you saying? He says, well, we don't really think that we're going to need you to play anymore. I was like, dude, it's not April. This ain't April Fool's joke. No, what are you talking about? He says, no, really, Tom. No, really, we're serious. You know, we don't think that we need your services anymore. I was like, oh, really?
We played some more gigs and the band just disintegrated.
It was hard days back then.
And you ever hear somebody say they have a black cloud or they broke a mirror or a black cat ran in front of them?
Kente said it best when he said, who the devil are the Soul Truckers?
I don't know what else to say.
Whatever, man.
Who the devil are the Soul Truckers?
So I've got a small idea of who I am. What I don't know is how that fits in with your plan. I need your voice to tell me just which way to go for my sake. Oh God, please let me know. Oh, for my sake. Oh God, please speak to me.
You know, it was several months later before I even knew that, that JB had been eliminated also.
J.B. Hawkins wasn't going to be with the guys. And when you take J.B. Hawkins out of a situation like that, you can't call it the Soul Truckers. You have to call it something else.
I think it was like Plan B,
Plan B,
kind of a trying time.
a birth as well as a, we call it a death, but a retirement, temporary retirement of different musical values.
Our problems with some historical structures that were disappearing, just vanished.
There was a incorporation of a female vocal.
I went to their concerts. I was not really like hanging like tight, tough, whatever with the members, but I dug their music.
Bud A was a breath of fresh air of Emmylou Harris proportions.
I had these like high expectations of them, like they were in a Christian band. You know what? They drank Budweiser.
It's not something I'm proud of.
And we played and sang some Counting Crows. Like, wow, secular? They know about that stuff?
I couldn't tell you anything about it.
And we stayed out late, past like 12.
There's been rumors Soul Truckers were involved.
I was like, dude, you're in a Christian band. You're not supposed to be out like past 12. At Brooke College, Baptist? Dude.
During that time, we went up to Thompson and we were down a couple guys.
The bass player?
Mr. Wood.
PH, as they called me back in the day.
He couldn't be there that night, and so I played bass with him.
We went to a church one time and Joey popped the string off.
I worked all week, my fingers were bloody.
That boy was shot.
Got right down to it, and right before my solo started, this funniest thing, the E string on my bass broke. And
kept on playing. Nobody ever knew in a church house.
To be honest, I think that the BH cut my E string.
Whatever, man.
Fortunately, we all were tight enough that after our Plan B failed, we went back to being the Soul Truckers.
Sometimes the wind blows cold, and then you find your way back home.
But we were never what we were.